Guys, today I'm going to cover SQL database, data manipulation. Okay, so using UiPath SQL database activities, and so I'm going to cover how to interact with SQL database and how to upload the data into SQL database and how to retrieve the data from the SQL database based on the conditions and how to update, how to insert. Okay, those are the data manipulation we are going to see it today. And first go to activity panel, and here if you click like SQL or database, okay, SQL, there is no activity for that. And if you type on database, okay, database, and there is no activity for that. Okay, so in order to do SQL automation, okay, first what you have to do, click on manage package, because we need to install the packages to automate SQL server, and go to all packages and click on the search window, then type there database. Then you will find this UiPath database.activities. Click on it and click install and click on save. Okay, so now go to activity panel. So now search database, and if you type database, there you see bulk insert, bulk update, connect to database, then disconnect from database, insert, run command and run query, and start transition. Okay, so these are the activities available to automate SQL database. Okay, so first we'll start with this activity, connect to database, and then followed by some other activities. Okay, create a new process. First we will create a data table, then we will insert a new data into a table. Okay, and before that, so make sure that in your machine SQL Server and SQL Management Studio should be installed on your machine. And if you type Studio, you will get this. Okay, SQL Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Click on it. Here there is a two authentication mode. One is server SQL authentication and other one is a Windows authentication mode. If you select Windows authentication mode, and no need to provide the login username and password. Okay, if you select SQL server authentication mode, you need to pass username and password, and it's based on your client. Okay, maximum the client they will have that SQL server authentication mode in order to enter the username and password to access the database. Okay, and here I'm going with SQL server authentication mode, and I'm entering my username and password and click on connect. So this is your studio, and here you see there are a lot of databases available. I already created UiPath database. Let's say today I'm going to create a new database for your practice, and right click on this database and click new database. Okay, here I'm going to create a database name learn UiPath. Okay, click on OK. So now you see there is a database name called learn UiPath, and here in this database there is no table here. Okay, so we have to create a table first. So in order to insert a data, we required data table, right? So we will now create a table manually. Even we can create the table using these activities. So let me create manually no table, and then we will start inserting the new data. And so right click on this learn UiPath. Okay, and there is a second option, new query, and click on it, and here you will get a query window. Okay, so this is the place where you can add your queries. So let's say, and so in order to learn queries, and there is a website called the very easy one, that is called W3 School. Okay, so I'm going into this website to show you couple of queries, and here you see there are a lot of queries available, and we can utilize all the queries based on our process requirement. Okay, first thing is I want to create a table first, right? So let me go to the place where we are creating the table. Okay, so create a table. Yeah, here is the create SQL table, and click on it. And so here you see the create table statement is used to create a new table in a database. Okay, and this is the syntax. Okay, so the syntax should be create table, then followed by table name, then followed by your column header, then what is the column header data type. Okay, that you have to mention. So here you see there is an example. Here they created the table name as a person, and they added a column like person ID, last name, first name, address, city. Okay, and also here they have mentioned that the person ID, it's a integer data type, and the last name as a string, varchar. The length of the string is 255. So that's how they mentioned, right? And so what I do, I am going to copy this syntax. Okay, I'm going to copy this syntax. It's very easy. Okay, learn the query and apply it here. So here I pasted create table person. So instead of person, I required let's say I am going to create a table to store my config data. Okay, so let's play with that. Your instead of reading your bot required input from the Excel config, let's say we are going to read it from the SQL database. Okay, and here I'm going to create a table name like settings and constant. Okay, settings and constant. Okay, settings and constant. So here let me name it like the column name, and so that is also varchar. Okay, I'm copy and paste it, the first column name. And what is the next column? Value, right? So I can add a value column name, that is also varchar name and value, and then finally description, and followed by we have a varchar. So the remaining things I'm not required here. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so this is the table I'm going to create. The table name, the syntax is create table, settings and constant is the table name, and name varchar, I mean the column name, value, description, and the type, the column data type should be varchar. Given the varchar only. And now just select this and click on execute button, and you will see this command completed successfully command, and which means table it has been created successfully. Now so how do I know that whether table is created based on this column? There is another query. Okay, select star from your data table. Okay, if you type settings, and there will be a settings and constant in the list. Just select this and execute, and you will see the name and the value and the description. Okay, these are the columns which we created through this query. Okay, now this is done. We created the table. Now the table is constant, right? Always constant. Okay, because the table it contains only these columns that we created, that is always constant. But whatever the data we insert inside the table, that is always dynamic, right? And then yeah, we need to insert the data using UiPath Studio. Okay, let's go to UiPath Studio. Okay, and okay, 1 second. So let me drop this table. Okay, there is a query to delete the table. So let's delete, there is a drop. So we need to drop table, then we need to add the following syntax. Okay, drop table and the settings and constant. Okay, I'm going to delete this table because I want to add one more column. I deleted. Now you see, if you executed this query and there is no table like that, settings and constant. So I'm going to add one more column like name, value, and here I'm going to add it like a process name. Okay, process name, varchar, this is 255. Okay, I tell you know what is the reason I added this process name. Okay, let's say you have only one table, that is the settings and constant. So in your organization and you are as a RPA team, you are going to build lot of process. Okay, that time, and you are going to add all the settings and constant sheet data into, I mean the input into same table. Then how your bot, there is a different bot, there is a finance team and HR team, maybe there are a couple of different bot, how the bot can pick that right config value from the database. So that is the reason I given the process name. So based on the process name, and so we can filter and we can get those data from the DB. Okay, so yeah, let's see in the practical. Now you just select this query and execute. The table has been created. Check that the select star from your table name, check it, and yeah, yes, it's it's a created name, value, process name, description. Okay, that's great. Now go to your studio. Now I'm going to start inserting my data. How to start inserting the data into a data table? Let's see that. Okay, so here there is a connect to database and disconnect to from a database, common for all the query handling. And here you see there is a run command and run query. So this run command we use for update, insert and delete statements. This run query we use for retrieve the data from the database. Okay, now we are going to use this run command. So let's say I'm going to update the data, right? I'm going to create a new sequence, update new data. Okay, update new data and click OK. Now drag and drop connect to database. Okay, and here we need to do a configuration settings. Okay, now first we have to initialize our connection. Okay, from here to database. In order to do that, and click configure connection. Okay, click configure connection and you will get the get this pop-up window, and click on connection wizard and you will get this pop-up window. Then select Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, and here the server name we have to select the drop down. It will now give you the server name. Okay, if it is not provided your server name automatically, go here, okay, in this database, okay, and right click and click on connect, and this is your server name. Okay, copy this server name and come back to your studio. So now add your server name here. Okay, and now here this is the place we need to select whether our studio is server authentication, I mean our studio is server authentication, I mean the Windows authentication mode, or SQL server authentication mode. I choose here that use SQL server authentication mode, and here I'm going to give my username and password. Okay, no worry about here I'm outcoding the username and password. I will tell you later how to get the password from the orchestrator and how to pass that password into this connection string. Okay, I added my password here, and now here the selector now select or enter your database name. If you click on drop down, you will get all your database here, and this is the database which we created, and select this learn UiPath, and then now click on this test connection. Okay, now the test connection was succeed, and click on OK, and now see, this is your connection string. Okay, this is your connection string, and now click on OK. Now you are initialized your connection. Okay, and the next thing is you need to drag and drop disconnect database. Okay, disconnect from the database. So whatever the activity, I mean whatever the action you do in middle of this connect to database, and so after that in the end we need to definitely disconnect our database. Okay, so and let's say to disconnect, again we can provide this connection string, copy pasting it here instead of that, and we can do one thing, go here, there is a database connection. Okay, create here variable db connection, enter it, and come to disconnect database, and here you call your db connection. Okay, previously this particular disconnect from database also it's having the same thing, but now you can pass only this particular variable db connection, and here now so we initialize the connection to the database, and then finally we are disconnecting the connection, and in middle we are going to process I mean we are going to do anything. So we can update, we can insert, we can retrieve data, whatever, that is based on your process. Now I'm going to drag and drop this run command. Okay, because this run command we use for insert the data. Okay, now let's say we have a data table. Now I'm going to insert the data here. Okay, in this name, value, process name, description. Okay, and so again there is a configure connection. No need to give again configure connection and all, because already we have initialized the connection that is available in this variable, and you can click on this run command and go to the connection string, existing connection, and click here and call your variable db connection. Okay, now here we need to enter the query. Okay, we need to add the query to add the data into a SQL database, right? So what is the query for insert data? It's very simple. Go to your Google, okay, and check for the insert query. Okay, and here you see insert into. Okay, so I want to insert new data. So if you see that insert into statement, the insert into statement is used to insert a new record into a table. Okay, in a table. So now what is the syntax? So here there are two methods. One is insert into table name, followed by we have to mention the column, then followed by values. Then here there is other method, insert into table name. You can directly pass a values. Let's check it in the window whether it is inserting or not here. Okay, let me go here and copy that. It will be easy. Okay, insert into, copy that and go here, paste it. Insert into the table name is, our table name is settings and constant. Okay, our table name is settings and constant. Insert into settings and constant, and so our column name is name, and our next column name is value, and then process name and description. Okay, so one more column we have a description, and that's it. So what is the value I need to pass? Same like the first value. Let's say here I'm going to pass value here within a single quotes. Here I'm going to pass like my name is Amazon URL. Okay, Amazon URL, and the value is something like I can get it from like HT Amazon. Okay, go here, and the next value is Amazon URL, and then third is process name. Okay, let's say this is about the process is who is. We have created a bot, right? Here who is, and let's say that is the bot, and here one more description we have to do. Okay, description, I can give URL is used to initialize Amazon web page. Okay, now this is the query part is done. Okay, we are now going to insert into table name on the name and value, process name and description column, and the value should be this one. Okay, now if I execute this, okay, there is a result output, one row affected. Okay, then check the output using this query, select star from settings and constant and check it. Here it is added. First, before we adding this particular query into UiPath here, UiPath run command, you have to test it here in this query window whether it is working or not. If it is working, then you can directly copy this, okay, and go here in the studio and click on edit query and maximize it within double quotes. You can add it. So as of now I added as a hard code. I will tell you how to add variables inside later. Okay, as of now I added as a hard code. So here values, let's say here I'm going to change it like instead of Amazon URL folder path. Okay, and here the HTTP request, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to add like C drive data folder, something like that, and leave it the process and these things. Just we are checking it whether it is working or not. Okay, the run command is ready. Okay, now let me debug this. So the connection execution was successful, and and now the run command also executed successfully, and step into the connection disconnected successfully. Now go to your studio and check whether the data is come in or not. Okay, and select this query, select star from settings and constant, execute it. Yes, now the new row inserted here. Okay, folder path C. Now we assume that okay, this query is working fine. Okay, next we will see how to insert variable inside it and how to let's say I have a Excel, then I want to upload all the data into a database, then everything we will see it in a later. Okay.